Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're at question number 182 for our DevOps and SRE interviews. The point of these videos is for you to be prepared for DevOps and SRE role interviews so that even before you go in, you feel confident, you feel like you've covered as much as you can as much as you could possibly cover on all the important topics in as much depth and width as possible so that you feel going in super confident and it will show. That's my goal. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. This is nothing for you, but it actually makes a big difference in my channel, so I really would appreciate that. So as you may know, I did some research on LinkedIn job descriptions, 35 of them, and I came up with these 15 most important topics for DevOps and SRE interviews. The ones at the top, like cloud, CI/CD, and monitoring, these are much more important than the ones at the bottom, like containers and system design. However, you should not ignore the ones at the bottom because, as you can see, even the 15th topic had 17. The word came out 17 times out of 35 jobs, so they're not important. So, of course, you're going to spend more time on the top 5 or 6, but spend some time on the bottom topics as well. Okay, today we're on topic number 11, Kubernetes, which is, I'm really surprised that Kubernetes came at number 11 based on the data, but in my experience and intuition, I can tell you Kubernetes is probably top 5. It's really important. Every DevOps team is using it these days, has been for a while, and if it's highly likely that you're going to be asked about Kubernetes on a technical interview for a DevOps and SRE role. So the question today is, how can you or have you used RBAC in Kubernetes? RBAC stands for role-based access control, which is now default for almost any access control. But here the interviewer is looking for your knowledge of how you've used in the past, or at least in theory, you should know how it is used in Kubernetes. So some details is needed in your answers, not just a generic thing, right? That's what the interviewer is looking for. Before I move on, just a quick reminder, Floyd Spencer is my advisor. Career advisor, please take advantage of his 1 hour free session. He's very passionate. I'm not financially affiliated with him. So yeah, please go ahead and take advantage of his 1 hour free session. So as the question suggests, if the interview is asking how have you used, that of course depends on your own use case. But here's one possible answer I'm going to give you. And if you get the gist of it, you can answer this question any way you like based on your experience. So one possible is you use service accounts, right? Service accounts are accounts that are not used by humans. It's used by actual applications, right? So the service account is actually becomes part of a role in Kubernetes. That role has certain permissions, and therefore when the service account authenticates against Kubernetes, it can do certain things and no more and no less, right? That's the use case. That's one of the use cases you can mention in as an answer to this question. By the way, some things you need to know about RBAC in the first place. So RBAC in Kubernetes is just basically like IAM and policies and bindings like we have in AWS, right? You have subjects, basically who subject is the person who or the service account who. Then you have verbs, the things that this service account or the human can do, right? The subject is allowed to do. And then you have role binding that binds the subject to these roles. These are the three ways, these are the three triangles, if you will, how a human or a service account is tied to a particular resource that it can actually have access to. That's the whole idea. If you can explain that, you'll be good to go. Okay, hope you found this useful. If you have any particular question or you can find me on LinkedIn, or you can just leave a comment below, and I will see you next time.